Good morning, 4th grade. Mrs. Bilger here today for your reading lesson for Friday, May 8th. Great work this week. You guys have been working really hard to understand characters, analyze those characters, determine traits, understand the difference between traits versus feelings, doing a great job understanding changes in a character over time, developing themes and life lessons learned, analyzing those themes, unpacking that text evidence. And to finish out our week this week, we are going to take all of those things that we've learned and all those things we've worked so hard this week to analyze themes to determine the author's craft. Why did the author write this story? What was the purpose behind it? So understanding all of those pieces that we've worked so hard to put together to develop what we think or why we think that author wrote the book and their craft for their book. So to do that today, readers have to remember that they have to analyze themes and life stories and lessons of life stories. And in doing so, they're also analyzing the character to develop those themes and those life lessons. Today, I want to remind you that when we work to analyze and we work to develop author's craft, we want to not only unpack the evidence, but then we want to state why we think that the author might have written what they've written. To help us understand the story. So when we do that today, we're going to continue to think about those themes. We've worked already on naming a theme. So to add to that today, we're going to name multiple themes. We're still going to continue to give that evidence for each theme. So if you name 3 themes, then you have to have 3 pieces of evidence. And then the last thing we're going to add today is that author's craft piece. So looking at this post-it note, in order to do that, we want to name multiple themes. We want to give evidence for each theme and then name the author's craft that shows these themes, that expands upon it and puts it kind of all together. So here are some sentence starters for you to do this work. Really the easiest one and the simplest one and the one that most people use is the author did this because. Stating your opinion after you've developed and analyzed all of your themes and your character. So using that sentence starter, you'll see the work that we do today. I'm going to continue my work that we've been doing with Stone Fox and Little Willie. If you remember the past 2 days, we decided on what we felt our trait was for Little Willie. We talked about him being determined. And yesterday we came up with some themes, never give up, to persevere. And then we cited some text evidence that went along with that. So today we're going to take the same thing and we're just going to add to it. You'll notice today when I share with you here in a second that I've added some themes, I've added some text evidence just to kind of show you what it looks like to have multiple themes and then multiple pieces of evidence to go along with what it is that you're writing and you're developing. So readers, let me share what I have done. So one of the themes in Stone Fox is to persevere. We've already decided upon that and done that work. Little Willie is determined. I know this because according to the story, we use that as a sentence starter, he continues to harvest crops to make the farm money. When he realizes he still needs more money to keep the farm, he enters the dog sled race. Okay, that we've already done that work. This next piece is going to be new information. Another theme that emerges is you're never too small to make a difference. In the story, Little Willie, a child, worked on his own to harvest and race to help his grandfather with the farm. So if I go back to my kind of how to do this work, name multiple themes. That's one of the parts of it. So I talk about one theme. One of the themes in Stone Fox is to persevere. Awesome. First theme. I'm going to put a little 1 by it because what I want to do next is put a 1 by my text evidence that goes along with my persevering. So according to the story, he continues to harvest crops to make the farm money. There's text evidence for theme number 1. When he realizes he still needs more money to keep the farm, he enters the dog sled race. So there is a second piece of evidence for that first theme. So I'm also going to put a number 1 by that. Okay, this next part's new. Another theme that emerges is you're never too small to make a difference. Mrs. Bilger realizes she totally spelled that word wrong, so let me edit that really quickly. Pays to slow down, but then it pays to edit too. So sorry about that. Okay, so another theme that emerges is that you're never too small to make a difference. I'm going to put a number 2 next to that because that's my second theme. So as I continue to read to do this next piece here, the giving evidence, then I can now mark what the number 2 of my evidence is. So in the story, Little Willie, a child, and I put a child in there because I want you to know how small that he is, worked on his own to harvest and to race to help his grandfather win the farm. So not only does he harvest, he also does that race all on his own to help his grandfather. So he's never too small to make that difference. So we've done that theme work. We've determined a theme. We've added a theme. We have the text evidence to support it. This is great work so far. So here's what we're going to add. We're going to add that author's craft piece. So in my purple marker, I'm going to continue with the author's craft part. The author did this because, and you'll notice my sentence starter is the exact sentence starter that we talked about earlier. Author's craft. The author did this because. That's exactly what I used. The author did this because he wanted you to see that even kids can make a difference if they persevere. I'm going to add to that and set their minds to it. It is important, I hope I don't run out of room, to remember to never give up. Oops. So what I have in purple there, and I'm going to take my black Sharpie and just underline for you my sentence starter. So I have my sentence starter. The author did this because he wanted you to see that even kids can make a difference if they persevere and set their minds to it. It's important to remember to never give up. So the reason or the purpose that the author wrote this book was for you to learn that. But I was able to come to that conclusion and to analyze my author's craft and understand the author's craft because I did all that work with the characters and the story elements and the theme and the changes in the character over time. You've already done the hard stuff to get to doing this easy part. So readers, to be a successful reader and to be a successful writer, we continue to do our analyzing to understand and develop our character, as well as determining our author's craft from doing our developing and our analysis of our character, our themes, and our story elements. So remember today to do just those things as you're working through your lesson today. Your goal today is to respond on Flipgrid with a video. You can pick a book we've worked on this week to do this, or you can pick one of your very favorite books. I want to hear from you today. I want you to tell us a theme that is developed in one of the books you've read or one of your favorite books, and then tell us what the author's craft is in that book. So looking forward to seeing your faces and hearing your voices and hearing what you have to say. So readers, have a great day. Off you go.